Welcome to Selling Dallas Fort Worth. I'm Tyler Kreis, and today we have a special guest with us, Logan Hassinger from Sage Senior Support, and we're going to be discussing the unique ways agents provide value to their clients. And Sage Senior Supports has created a unique value proposition that is dedicated to helping seniors and their families. I'm Tyler Kreis, the broker and owner of TK Realty, where we love our clients. And Logan, it is awesome to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler. Thank you for having me.
So tell me, what is Sage Senior Support and how do you help seniors and their families?
Yeah, so Sage Senior Support was kind of rebranded or recreated over the last 6 months. We've been buying houses since 2015, fixing them, renovating them, maybe renting them, different exit strategies for all the different things that real estate provides for us. But looking back at our clients and who we've served the most, the market's changed last summer. And so helping our own business to look at sustainability going forward, our clients were generally older and had various reasons for selling to us on a quick sale. But it was either a passing of a loved one, and so we're working through with a probate attorney, or a family was transitioning into long-term care. I didn't know what transitioning into long-term care meant. I didn't have a lot of questions or answers for them when they would come to me with questions about what their next step is. I was just helping them facilitate the sale of a home and kind of relieving them of a big burden for them is the home and all of mom's stuff. So that's what we've been doing. And now we're dedicated to serving seniors and providing value to the families within real estate, but also within senior living resources, Medicaid, estate sales, probate, all the different things that are beyond real estate and a much bigger concern for the family.
Well, that's awesome. It is something that, this is new to me. It's new to here, so I'm excited to hear what you have to offer. Sure. And share with me, from me being a real estate broker and you being an independent company that is also helping purchase houses, how are you doing it differently and more efficiently and being able to help them in ways that I can't?
Sure. So I think it's best described or told through an example. We have a family up in Plano. We closed on this property a few weeks ago. The mother had moved into long-term care. The father had passed away about 6 months ago. The son, who was helping with the estate and visiting mom, they're from St. Louis. So not even close to the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, had a sister in Houston. And at this point, when they came to us, it was really just the home was a burden. It was vacant. It still had some of mom's stuff in there, but they weren't sure kind of what to do next. The senior living community where mom is staying reached out to us to provide a resource to the family. So we reached out to the son. We met with them, kind of went through the home, walked through, the different repairs. In this instance, it was about $130,000 renovation, included foundation, roof repair, HVAC, all the big things. It was a 1970s build that hadn't been updated. Well kept. Mom did a great job of maintaining the home, but market ready was not there.
It was not a typical listing appointment when I could go in and I can see something that is relatively easy. I can walk in, just declutter this, do routine maintenance. You're talking significant upgrades to a property to be able to get it ready for market value. Not that they didn't take good care of the house. It's just getting it from a 1970s to a 2023 market value is what you're talking about when it comes to the repairs.
Yes, exactly. So our process is very different than what someone may expect from, you can call me a glorified house flipper, but our process is very different when we walk in with the family. It's number one, walking in with some empathy. I mean, their situation has put them in a position to make decisions maybe quickly in some cases, or there's a lot of emotional ties to the home. This is where this son grew up. 30 years in that home and has moved away to St. Louis, but coming to this home meant a lot. So walking into it with knowing what's going on, And then the next step is going over the renovations with them. So I flipped the script on, instead of me walking in with a yellow notepad, looking around and saying, I'll give you 50,000 for it, with no basis of how I got there.
Yeah.
I turn it around, and we've got software that we utilize. It's large font. It's blown up. A lot of the folks that we work with are seniors. So I try to accommodate that, and it's on an iPad. So I walk in, we were walking through the home, and I asked them very simply, if money and time were not a concern, or, a hurdle to get over, what would you do to the home?
So you can provide at real time as you're helping and assisting during that emotional time and that initial meeting. You can walk a client through a home and create a rehab list like in real time.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
So
that's amazing.
I simplify it for them and say it's a checkbox system. And they kind of have fun with it. It's everything. There's 400 items on it, but we really only touch about 20 to 30 things. And it's from the large items on the exterior: roof, windows, soffit and fascia, and, maybe some brick repair or things like that. And then we get into the interior of the home, and they're like, oh yeah, I'd love to do the countertops, and I think marble would be great. And, I may position them, hey, I don't know if you want to spend that much, because in a way I'm getting them to see if they want to do it themselves or have us do it. We're
Right.
just an option.
And if you go into hey, we want to do it ourselves, so we want to sell with a traditional agent, are you able to help assist them in that way as well?
Yes.
Or okay.
Yeah. So, on the large renovation projects, generally after we get through that process with them, showing them the numbers, I walk into the numbers breakdown
Mm-hmm.
with, after we're done fixing this home up, we've already ran comparables for the
Right.
area. We know what the neighborhood is selling for, because that's my job. I've got to resell
Correct.
this home after fixing it up. And so we generally align on what we think the home is worth fixed up. So
And it's just you're going to help them see what it's going to take to get there,
correct.
and then walk them through all the costs and the time,
Yes.
and the stress that's going to allow. And that's one of the situations you're trying to alleviate with your offer and working with
Correct.
Sage Senior Support.
And like in this particular house, it was a $575,000 house up in Plano. Our next number is our profit, so it's 20%. And we put that out there first and foremost, so that
Oh.
they understand that there is a cost to selling for speed, and for not having to manage a rehab. So that's how I feed my family, how I pay my bills, and have the company running.
And you're able to share that and be upfront,
Mhm.
honest, and transparent, which is incredible. I
Yep.
mean,
So
that's
after
rare.
all those numbers, we ended up closing on the house for about 310,000, give or take. We cover all closing costs, title fees, back taxes, whatever needs to happen to get the home sold. And so for them, that
So they're
number
truly
was,
almost a zero out of pocket expense.
yes, zero out of pocket. We get a lockbox on the door. We help them with, yard maintenance. In this particular case, they were not in town, so keeping the yard maintained.
So they probably had some
Um,
liens from the city and other
No
things against
liens
the
in
house.
this case. It does happen, but in this case, it was really just trying to help alleviate any other additional tasks that they couldn't manage from being afar.
Okay.
So, and then in addition to just, the home closing process, the timeline for this one, we got contracted on, mid-February, and we actually didn't close until May. And the reason being is speed wasn't necessarily an issue for them. It really came down to, well, my sister's got to come up from Houston and go through mom's belongings. We've already done that. So we've got our things. We need to have an estate sale.
Okay.
I position an estate sale to most of our sellers simply because they're trying to maximize the value of the home.
And
Don't leave the things behind, because it's just not worth anything for me.
right. And
But it is worth something for
I'm
you.
sure you can help assist them through an estate sale, as far as you have some preferred vendors that you would recommend
Yes.
that
Yeah.
that can just get it done turnkey.
Right. Yep.
And when you go to a meeting in February and then you go purchase it in May, and you're meeting with other clients, and you write down your initial offer, are you able to, is that offer going to still be with good standing 6, 7, 8 months down the road?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's what they all ask is, hey, I'm just not ready yet. I agree with your number, but we've got some things that we need to get done first.
Okay.
Not a problem. I tell them, we can close in 10 days or 10 months. My
Okay.
timeline is the seller's timeline. And there's a lot of things that contribute to that timeline, but barring some market, big move that I think we've already experienced
Yeah.
back in November and December with interest rates and all those things. Our offer doesn't expire.
Okay.
I don't need you to, it's not a pressure sale to sign by midnight.
Yeah.
The day the
There's
contract
not, there's
delivered.
not the dedeadline, the 2022, hey, sign this in the next 24 hours,
Right.
you'll get a free trip type of
Yes.
contract.
No expiration. We're
Um,
there to help them.
And then just you touched on it a little bit, and I want to kind of bring it back on. If there is a market change, obviously things can go down, but if the market gets a little bit healthier, right? Like in our January in Texas it was probably the worst time in 5 years. We were down about 6%. However, we've kind of recovered here as we got into now towards the end of May, but like
Mhm.
April in general, we were down still about 2% in DFW year over year. So like if the market somewhat got a little bit better, can your offer to them improve?
Absolutely. That's a great point. So, along those lines of, the basis of our number starts with what do we think the home could be sold for
Okay.
when we're done with the renovation. So if that 575 now becomes 610, that's an extra dollar to them. Now the
Okay.
610 gets reduced by the 20%.
Because you know the profit that you would like to make.
Yes, which is
And
20% of the
okay,
aftermarket or after repair value or the market value fixed up.
that's awesome.
And the same thing with the renovations. In this particular case, we had a foundation estimate that I put together based on my experience. I recommended that we have an expert come out and actually give us an estimate that we would use. And in this case, the estimate was lower than my estimate. So it was a dollar for dollar. They got money back in their pocket
Okay.
simply because the real foundation estimate came in lower than
Lower.
what my number was.
Because your goal is not to make money on the repairs; it's to make
Correct.
money on the resale.
Correct.
That's different than a lot of the things that we've sold. Because traditionally, when I go into a listing, an appointment, and I'm meeting with people, most of the time, no, they're not extensive $90,000-$50,000 rehabs. It's me coming in generally very unemotionally, looking at a house, saying, hey, this is what you need to do. You need to clean, declutter, stage, do some landscaping. Maybe you do deferred maintenance, but the deferred maintenance isn't replacements. It's not,
Mhm.
it's not significant rehabs. It's, hey, if you want to do this, you're probably going to spend anywhere from $500 to maybe $3,000 at the most to maximize your profit.
Sure.
So you're able to go in, take it as is. They get to move on from the house, and you're doing it with care.
Right. Yeah, it's a very different approach to what you may think of as we buy ugly houses. At the core of it, yes, we were buying a home to fix it up for resale and make money. I don't shy away from that. I make sure I explain that very clearly with my client
Okay.
that I'm meeting with. They generally have family with them that's helping them understand all of this. It's a big decision, and it's not one that I want to rush them through.
Mhm.
So being open and transparent with every number, with the process, it is as simple as hey, we like your number. We need to do a few things. We'll come back to you when we're ready to sell it. And thank you for
So,
everything.
to help me understand another service that you guys can do to help alleviate the process when it comes to, you have Medicaid, you have
Mhm.
other expenses that if me as a real estate agent sell this house for too much, or if the senior gets too much of an income, it can negatively impact their Medicaid
Yes. So,
and their assistance they're getting.
one of the things that we do is we partner with Medicaid attorneys. And it's different for the different areas that we serve throughout DFW. But one of the biggest hurdles or complications to the Medicaid process, assuming that this homeowner is going to be going into nursing or skilled nursing with a community, putting too much money in their pocket and taking a home that is a non-counted asset and converting it to cash, which is now a counted asset, Medicaid doesn't like that. So what I do is then refer them out to a Medicaid attorney.
Okay.
That does cost money, but overall will net them greater financial flexibility.
Well, and the goal
So,
is to get them a better quality of care.
correct.
And so,
I'm not going to jeopardize the care that they need for a home buy.
all right,
I've got time. Like I said, I tell everyone, I don't need to buy your home.
right.
Um, I'm
You
here
want
to,
to.
I want to buy the home, and that's our business model,
Mhm.
but I don't want to jeopardize other things that, that you likely didn't know about,
Right.
until you go speak with that expert. So I stay in my lane with home buying and renovations, and I point them in the direction of, a Medicaid attorney, an estate sale company, home health. Some clients don't even, they're just kind of entertaining the sale process. And our numbers can be lower than expected. And like, okay, well, I think we're just going to have mom stay in the home, and we'll provide in-home care. Great. I've got some providers. So this little brochure here, or a folder that's got 12 pages in it, full of resources within senior
Right.
living.
So you're able to not only go meet them at their house with a listing appointment, but your Sage Senior Support is able to truly look at their situation and provide a roadmap and the people along that
Mhm.
roadmap to get them from point A to B
Correct.
to win at what they need to do.
Yes.
And that is that, have you found another company that has done this? Because for me, it's something that I've never been able to offer as an agent, just going in, hey, we buy and sell properties
Mhm.
at a really high level. We do a great job, but in these unique situations, this sounds like a better solution.
Yes. I mean, it's a different approach to home buying. I've walked into appointments 3 and 4 or 5 years ago where I didn't have this mindset. I didn't have these resources, and I was up in Frisco about 5 years ago trying to buy a home, and they had reached out to me as a mother that had fallen and needed to go into care. She was living with the daughter, and they were looking to sell mom's house. And looking back, I had no idea how to approach that situation. I was very numbers focused, and not a whole lot of feelings
And
involved.
yeah, there was no sensitivity, or it was
Correct.
just
And I didn't make that purchase. They went a different direction, and I look back and I'm like, probably because there's a lot of tools that I had lacking in my toolbox to help someone in a situation that I just didn't know how to help.
right.
And now that's where we bring to the table of, in our view, real estate is easy. It's the healthcare side of things that is the biggest stress on a family, and so
Mhm.
helping them navigate that is where we try to bring value. It's very different. Every time we walk into a home, or I do a lot of networking with senior communities in the
Mhm.
area. I do a lot of networking with healthcare related groups. 3, 4, 5 times a month, I'm at a networking event with 30 individuals that all provide some level of care, whether it's transportation, wheelchairs, wheelchair ramp building,
So, and if
all
you,
these different things. And I get up and I talk about what we do, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I've never heard of this.
so
How
if
can
you,
we work together?"
so if you had, like, if somebody's watching this or listening to this, um, and they have a family member or somebody in their life that is going through this situation or is needing your services, one, where can they find you, or where can they find more information about long-term care
Sure.
and taking those next steps?
Easiest way to get a hold of us is at our website, sageseniorsupport.com. There's a quick form on there you can fill out. We also offer a free resource. It's a book. I'm not an author, but I partnered with an individual who understands going into long-term care and how to pay for it. So we've co-authored a book called Paying for Long-Term Care. That book's free on our website as well. There's a form to download, and you'll get an e-version of the book. I carry a book with me everywhere I go, so if I'm ever out with a family, I hand them that book. But yeah, the easiest way is through our website, and then that'll come directly to me, and I typically follow up within a few hours. of getting a form submitted and trying to schedule an appointment with the family
Okay.
to see how we can help.
And I just want, and when they fill out the form and from the time you first get to reach out to them
Mm-hmm.
to when you typically purchase, how fast can you do it? Like we've already addressed, like it doesn't, like you're not on a timeline as
Right.
far as it could take 6 months to a year. The offer's good if the market adjusts. We've touched on that, but
Mm-hmm.
if somebody calls you, they have to get in long-term care quickly.
Mm-hmm.
How fast can you move?
10 days or less. So if they're getting home from rehab, and they can't go home, which is a scenario we're working on right now, um, 10 days. And then, like we talked about, it can be 6 months,
And
10
that's
months down the road.
from contract, title work to closing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and cash in their pocket. If they've got a mortgage, that'll get paid off through the closing process. But yeah, 10 days or less.
That's fast.
Yep.
A traditional sale, for me, like from the time I meet somebody at my initial listing consultation to when we actually close, can be anywhere from 90 to 120 days, just depending on their situation.
Mm-hmm.
And our market right now is sitting at about 45 days to 60 days on average. So 10 days is,
Yeah, negotiate. You get it listed. You get offers.
oh yeah, typically, yeah, you have your listing, you get it prepped. If there needs to be minor repairs and all that, that
Mhm.
takes time, staging, professional pictures. We've got to throw it up, and it just takes time on the market. This isn't like we're not in the 2021, 2022 to where I could throw up cell phone pictures and sell in 2 days.
Yeah,
That's gone.
right. Then you got contract negotiations with, hey, we want this done. No, I'm not paying for that, but we'll do
Yeah.
this.
And it's just that adds to a level of stress for a family that's already dealing with some significant stress that is a lot more important than selling a house.
Mhm. Right. So I mean, both strategies can work for clients that may not be in a time crunch, may have an unlimited budget, or have funds to spend. Um, we walk into a home sometime, or a lot of times, and the home doesn't need my
Right.
experience.
And you're
Doesn't need my
still able to
expertise.
help them, even if you're not the one purchasing the house. All of your material, all of your help, and everything that you can do for them is still available, regardless of you're purchasing the house.
Correct. Yeah. So I'll walk into a home and, it may not be updated, but it is very clean. Let's say it was updated 10, 15 years ago.
Right.
I'll look around and I'll quickly evaluate and let them know you don't need me.
Yeah.
I'd probably insult you with a number.
Yeah.
I've got a great real estate agent that you need to give a call to and let them get this on the market, because what you need is eyeballs.
Yeah.
You need it on the MLS. You
Yeah.
don't need me doing what we do to make it look like your next door neighbors who sold
Right.
last week.
Right. And that's an important value add. For me, it's one, your process is open, it's transparent. You're able to go in, say, this one is not for me. Here's how you can get it done the best way for you. And by the way, we still can get your estate sale. We can still give you
Mhm.
all these attorneys and be able to help you in there.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, just trying to connect them with people, helping them in their journey, and whoever ends up buying the home, whether it's me or a retail buyer that comes through from a listing,
They're still getting the benefits.
how do we maximize their value and leave them in a better position than where we met them before?
Okay.
So
Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for being here. Is there anything that you want to say before we jump off that we missed?
I think the biggest stigma that we try to overcome is getting over the fact that I'm looked at as an investor, as a flipper, somebody who's coming in to lowball
And take
someone
advantage.
and take advantage of a situation. And hopefully, over these last 20 minutes we've been talking, I've shared a little bit about our process and how that we are very different from what you would expect or from what's been around for 50 years. So we're trying to make a change here, and a lot of our population is older. So how can I help cater to that family, those families that are in need, and looking to go a different route? We're just so ingrained in using a real estate agent. Nothing against you guys.
Hey, we're not always the best solution. our fiduciary duty that gets lost most of the time is, as real estate professionals, our number one duty is to our clients. And that is even when the best thing for them is not to use us. In this situation, going in these, it isn't the best to use a real estate agent because we're not equipped with the tools, the empathy, the timeline, and the roadmap to be able to get from point A to point B. And we have to have, as an agent, we have to have honest conversations with ourselves that puts our compensation aside and does what's best for our client. And that's what gets lost a lot. So I think it's exciting to have a service like this. And I appreciate you being here. If you would like any more of his information, we've got links below, and feel free to reach out to myself or Logan Hassinger if you want more information. And we appreciate you for listening.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.